Alright, we have another race in the R class, and I'm going to be changing cars over to this Bugatti Veyron. Um, and this is the Suzuka circuit in Japan. And apparently it's raining in Japan. So I put on the wet tires and I get ready to do qualifying. Now this particular car is insanely fast. It has the capacity to do like 250, 260 miles an hour. It's an insanely fast car. Um, but that is not a good way to start a qualifying session going off track. Um, I've used this car a little bit, not all that much. I have used it at the bigger tracks, like Daytona, Trioval. In this car, I was able to get a lap time of 38 seconds around Daytona, and that's moving. Um, on the Le Mans Old Mustang circuit, the one that's just one great big long straightaway, I was able to get this thing up to nearly 270 miles an hour. Um, but whether or not I'm going to be able to control all of that power on a tight course in the rain is yet to be determined. And the way things are looking thus far, um, I'm having to go around this track a lot slower than I ordinarily would. Um, and I think, I'm not positive, but I think this car has an engine that's like 1200 horsepower or something like that. It's it's a pretty amazing vehicle, and I believe that in the real world, when this car came out, it was the fastest car on the planet. I don't know if other exotic cars since then have supplanted this as the fastest car or not, but I do remember when this car came out, it was like heralded by the automotive press as just this amazing technological achievement. But for me, I'm trying to control this beast on a tight track in the rain. And I do have, for a hot minute there, I was on the pole position, but I lost that to other drivers. And as you can see, this thing is hard to control. I'm all over the place, sliding off the track. So I have no way of knowing how well or how poorly this particular race is going to go. I am fairly far back in the pack. Um, it looks like I have a Ferrari up front, and I'm all the way back in ninth place. Um, and I have, I think, three matching Forza edition Porsche 911s, and there's another Ferrari over there. Maybe that's a BRZ. Um, but some competition that I'm going to have to deal with. As we wait for things to load up for the beginning of the race. And we're off. Oh, I'm able to get these guys off the line. Of course, right now the track surface is actually seeming to be somewhat dry. Um, and I do have wet tires on this car. And this Ferrari F40, he got around that Formula One car. Although they are kind of duking it out a little bit there. And here in these dry track conditions, that F40, he went off track. And whoop, and I go off track. And here's another Forza Edition Porsche. It slams into my right side. Here's a Ferrari, he slams into me. I was like, come on, dude. And I get back on the track ahead of him. But this thing is sliding. There's one of those Forza Edition Porsches. He went off track as well. So, at least I'm not the only one conducting themselves in an ill manner in this particular race. But before the race started, I checked the weather forecast, and it is going to start raining. And that guy, wow, he slid off right in front of me, which slams me into that wall there. And I have to say, thanks a lot, buddy. And there he's back on track there, bumping into me. And I'm like almost locking it up with that tight hairpin. And so here's the automatic wipers coming on because it is beginning to rain. Now I know that I'm faster than that guy down the straightaway, so I leave him in the dust, but I don't know that I'm going to be able to maintain that because he's probably better through the corners than I am in this. I'm not all that familiar with the handling characteristics of this car on tight tracks. I have driven it, but more so on the big tracks, not on tight tracks. And it has a lot of oversteer on it, so there is some adjustments that I'm going to have to do to this thing to like make it more drivable. Because right now it's like the only way that you were able to. Whoa, that guy kind of came out of nowhere. The only way that you're able to get through corners halfway decent is just by slamming on the brakes. You can't like use the torque and the compression in other types of race cars where you're actually using the engine as part of the components of getting through corners. And some of that could be just from lack of familiarity with this particular car. Now there's somebody else that went off track. So I have been able to move up to 9th place. But here's a Formula One car filling up my rear view mirror. And that guy, he should be faster than me down this straightaway, but he's still in my rear view mirror. He is catching up a little bit. And he finally ducks underneath me and gets around me, which didn't surprise me. Yeah, that is a BRZ. And those cars are, it's a Formula One car, so. But somehow I managed to get past him there, but. And I go off track, but I bring it back on. I don't know that I'll get a, yeah, no penalty, so I didn't think that I would get a penalty for that, but still, you're going off track and you're losing time, you're losing track position. And this thing is sliding around a lot. Ordinarily, this kind of S-turn section on Sakura, you're usually able to get through here about 70, 80, depending upon the car that you're in. Um, but that's in dry conditions. Everything is a little slower, or in some cases, a lot slower when you're doing that same track in the rain. And I almost go off track there, and this Porsche ducks underneath me, but I get away, and then I go off track. Not good. There's another car that passes me, so now I'm back to 9th place. And this thing slides real wide on me, and that Porsche slides wide and bumps into me. He's sliding all over the place. I can see that in my rearview mirror. And this thing it just slides, completely slides off the track. Just here again, it's just sliding all over the place. And I tried to dive into the pits there, but that didn't work out too well. So I figure, what the hell, I only got one lap left. I'll just go with the tires that I got. And I'm all the way down to 10th place now. And I slide off the track again. So this race is turning into an exercise in futility. Now, ordinarily, I would be going through these corners in like second or third gear. But I'm in first gear. I've got moderate tire wear. The car is just sliding all over the place. The only thing I'm trying to accomplish here is to remain on the lead lap and not get a DNF. It slides off track there. It slides off track there. It's just, the car's uncontrollable. It's like driving around on ice. And you're trying to drive around on ice at 100 miles an hour, which is not an easy thing to do. And there it swings wide on me again there. And it's not me doing this, it's the car doing it. It's like I'm going through here at like 60 miles an hour, 50, and it just slides out. It just, front end just plows and goes off. And this Ferrari gets past me here. And I'm able to get past him. Now I've got severe tire damage, so I'm really in trouble. And I slide off the track again. So this particular experiment in this particular car is not turning out anything at all like I was hoping that it would. But it is a race where you gain more experience in a different car. And so that's my race in the Bugatti Veyron at Suzuka in the rain. I hope you liked it, and I will see you on the racetrack.